Hey guys, it's Jeremy with Passfire here. Today we have something special. We're going to be doing an unboxing video of some new gear that we got. And there it is. We got a brand new Behringer TD-3-SR, or the TD3 as it's generally called. And some of you who are familiar with classic analog synthesizers may recognize this as a remake of Roland's classic TB-303. Classic analog synthesizer that, whether or not you're familiar with it, you've definitely heard it. Been listening to most kinds of techno, acid house, because this thing is the beast of the acid line. Let's take a look what's inside here. Got our little nifty National Fireworks Association opener here. Thank you for the awesome swag, NFA. Alright, let's see what we got. Da, da, da. Alright. So, let's see. Of course, as usual with Behringer, they give us a little package of our manual, and we got a couple stickers here. Behringer, we hear you. Alright, cool. Put that aside. And before we get to the main beast in there, let's just take this out. Of course, this is our power adapter. Pretty standard fare. It's pretty light, nothing too heavy, and you can see it has come with this little adapter for standard American USA style plugs, and yeah, pretty standard affair. How many volts is that? That is how many volts are you? 9 volts. Yep. So let's see. Nicely packed here. Alright. Let's see what we got. It's nice and shiny. The original kind of silver brushed aluminum look of the original. Now I know that they do this. The modern TD3 here does come in some other colors if you're into that. I think actually there's quite a variety. Let's see, where's our opener? But, you know, the classic silver is nice. And, of course, it's meant to kind of be this brushed aluminum, but I'll point out that I think even on the originals, the TB-303 and its drum machine cousin, the TR-606, the bodies, while they look like brushed aluminum, are actually molded plastic, similar to this guy. So, in terms of overall build quality, it seems fairly similar to the original. I don't have too much hands-on experience with the original, but I do, again, have the cousin TR-606. So, based on that, I kind of can compare the build quality on this. Very nice. It is, it's light, but, you know, the originals were also pretty light as well, so I wouldn't say this is that much lighter than the original, though it may be a little bit. Alright, let's get this beast plugged in and see what it sounds like. Just gonna turn it up here, and we got our power. 9 volt DC right in there, and standard instrument cable, 1/4 inch, into our output. And I guess we just gotta turn it on now, which is this little guy right here. The LEDs do a little chase, and looks like we're good to go. So From what I know of these machines, they're going to have some pre-programmed patterns in it. So you see pattern mode here. I'm going to set that to play. And basically we should be able to just hit start here and hear something. And let's like, before we do that, we're just going to put these all these knobs in the middle here. How about that? Just to kind of give us a baseline to start with. A baseline, no pun intended. Here we go. Let's hit start and see what it sounds like. Alright, that definitely sounds like a TB-303 acid line. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, that this is a sort of classic techno and house sound, acid house, and what you have here is you have a 4-pole low-pass filter with cutoff and resonance. And classic techno sound is to sweep that cutoff. Open up that filter, get more of the high frequencies in there. And of course, this is with the resonance turned all the way down. Let's turn that resonance up on the filter. Oh yeah. That's resonance. Let's max out that resonance. So to my ears, that's a really convincing, replica of the TB-303 sound. Now, I should mention that these machines, both this one and the original, have 2 different waveforms for the oscillator. So right now we're in saw mode, and we're just going to flip that up to square, which gives us a different sound. For those of you who are familiar with the sound of waveforms, it's a classic square wave sound. Alright, so I'm just going to stop this pattern and we're going to zoom in a little bit on some of these controls up here just so you can get a little bit of a better idea of what's going on there. So let's stop that and zoom in here. Get a little bit of a closer view of what some of these controls are here that basically affect the tone or the sound of the bass line as it plays. So let's start that pattern again. And just going from left to right here, you got your tune. Now I'm not actually sure how many cents or whatever that's pitching it up and down, but it's definitely not like octaves or anything like that. And then of course these next 2 knobs are really the classic knobs for knob tweaking for your acid lines. Now let's just turn our resonance down, skip ahead, turn our resonance to middle. And then you'll see the cutoff here, of course, is gonna turned all the way down. It closes our low pass filter so that we're really only letting through the low frequencies and cutting out the highs. And then as we turn this knob up, we're going to hear more of the high frequencies, which really gives that acid line sweep sound. So the filter's wide open now, so we're kind of hearing all of the frequencies from the waveform. And then, the resonance sort of peaks those frequencies. So if we turn up the resonance, we get a really kind of chirpy acid sound. next, moving on to our envelope, and then after that decay, those are going to kind of affect how the filter changes over time with the attack and decay of the sound. So let's just see what that sounds like. So when you turn it up, it kind of makes it a little more aggressive. Let's see what the decay does. Obviously, when you turn it up, the notes are going to be longer. And there, they kind of have a sharper. It almost seems like the attack is sharper, but I guess it's really just that it's decaying quicker. And then lastly, the accent feature has to do with the sequence itself of notes, and some of those notes can be accented and others aren't. So with the accent turned all the way up, you can hear that some of those notes are really accentuated. And just for fun, let's tweak our tempo here. So ridiculously fast, I don't know, a couple hundred BPM. Here's a nice slow tempo, which you might not really dance to, but it highlights the sort of what the envelope is really doing to each note. So that's just pattern one that's been pre-programmed in here. Let's just check out a couple of the other patterns that are in here. And moving over here to the right side of the TD3, we have a few more knobs that you'll see. One is for distortion level, which right now I have distortion turned off. So we're going to flip that on a second and see what that sounds like. But also a tone control level, which I assume is some sort of EQ type thing. And then level, oh, I see, right. So the tone and the level would be for the distortion itself, I believe. So let's see what that sounds like. We'll flip on distortion. Oh yeah. Let's just turn that up a little bit. I just turned up the level of the distortion, so it's a little louder. And yeah, let's just crank that distortion up to the gnarliest, nastiest sound we can get right there. Yeah, oh yeah. And now, of course, with the distortion turned on now, if we go back and do our filter sweeps, we're going to get a really aggressive sound. So let's just check that out real quick for a classic acid line sound. Alright, so we got our distortion on. We're in square wave mode. Let's give that filter a tweak. Ooh, yeah, when you turn that resonance up, it really squeals. Of course, that's the square wave. Let's just hear what that saw wave sounds like with the distortion. Oh yeah, that sounds cool. Alright, well that's just a quick run through of some of the really basic functionality and sound of the TD-3. It's a really impressive unit actually. It's does a great job copying that classic TB-303 acid line sound that is just, you know, so iconic in many forms of electronic music. You know, it's I think the retail officially is something like 225, 230 bucks, but they are commonly available from all your major online retailers for, you know, about 150, but actually they are easy to find on sale for even 100 or less. So this is a really great bang for your buck. And it will add a really classic sound to your synthesizer repertoire. So yeah, pretty sweet. There's a lot to get into in terms of learning the sequencing and putting in patterns and all that, but this at least gives you a little idea of what this TD-3 computer-controlled analog bassline synthesizer can do. It's pretty sweet. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you did, please hit that like button and give us a subscribe. Alright, stay green.